Hi, viewers and subscribers. Welcome back. We are talking about some of the reasons why marriages break up or why marriages are suffering abroad, for especially amongst the African community. You find that when people are abroad, marriages take a different turn, and I think that it's time for me to actually come and talk about this topic. I'm going with different backgrounds of some of the places that I've visited or some of my activities that I, you know, have here at my home or around the area that I live in. And I think one of the main one, I think, is stress and overworking here in UK or abroad or wherever you are. Some of the work that we do is not usually the same as the work that we may have been doing or the work that we do in our own countries, for instance. Most people abroad do a range of work that is actually repetitive, physical. For those that are not necessarily doing physical, repetitive work, there's still levels of stress. Whether you're a doctor, you're a nurse, you're working long hours, you come home and you find that you're really just exhausted. All you want is some silence, some peace and quiet. And when there's children in the mix and one of you is doing more work with them than the other, perhaps the other one has also got a job, a part-time job, or they're at home for that matter, a mother or a father, even in that case, has been at home all day and has been working and bringing up the children, doing the house chores and so forth. And the children are really young, barely having any time to yourself as a person can actually impact the well-being. That's why it's so important to find something to do outside the home. Physical exercise, taking a walk, even if you've got young children, going out for a walk as a couple, or taking walks with the children. It's very crucial to actually take breaks as well to remove yourselves from routine. So I would say that that is one of the things that people need to perhaps look into and work on. It's one that can really impact very, very quickly, um, uh, over time. And if care is not taken, it can really begin to create a stress um, in a marriage, in a relationship. The next thing is lack of financial management. And I'm not going in any order here. I think I used to have a time when I thought that finances weren't such an impact on a marriage, but over time, I realized that it's so important to work together where money is concerned. Some couples have accounts where they have um, a shared account, joint account, and some couples also have separate accounts and then a joint account. This is something that uh, a couple can come together and actually decide on what to do. And then what do you do with that money that's joint in a joint account? Because there's transparency then, isn't there? But where there is no transparency and discussion about how money should be used, what are the goals financially for a couple? What are the goals for children, if there's any children? What are the savings goals? What are the investment goals? If something like that is not there and money is being mismanaged, perhaps one partner is using more money than the other, perhaps they're using money secretly, and many other reasons that can come into play can really affect the dynamics of the management of the home, payment of bills, and future plans for the family financially. So you find that for women, although we have more ability to earn now, we go out, we work, but on the larger part, women take a back seat to raise family for some time, maybe for some years, whether that is full time or part time. You find that they then want to, when they return to the labor market, they want to catch up. They want to do things very quickly. And I think that some women, I think for myself, I want to speak that I think I'm so motivated that I would like to do things very fast. And I say, by with all humility and by God's grace, uh, God has given me the ability to make a lot out of little. So I feel that I need to do things and achieve a lot quite quickly. Not necessarily that I'm, rushing or being careless, but I just, want to be intentional. So you find if one partner is more intentional than the other, then something somewhere along the line could go a little bit amiss. One partner could also get resentful of the other partner's ability in with finances. So there are so many things that could come into play, but these are some of the things that I want to talk about and I want to bring in the picture so that people can begin to think about it as part of what could affect a marriage, especially in the diaspora. Because then, for instance, here in the UK, you also have the government sometimes, for those who are able to, do give support to the family. So what do you do with that kind of some of the finances that you get for your family? What do you do with that? It's not to say you don't want to rely on anything from the government. You actually just want to say, okay, what are we going to do with this? It's nothing much. It is temporary. And so that can also come into play. The next thing, and you need to take decisions I want to talk see about what you're going to do. A lack of, undefined roles for a couple. Traditionally, we know that men's role is to be a breadwinner. They are the hunters. They go out and they look after the welfare, security-wise, financial-wise, and the welfare everybody, even spiritual. The man is the head. Now, if some of those things are missing, then somehow the woman, or the wife, should I say, finds herself taking a role that may not be hers. It breaks down some level of, I want to say, it changes the family dynamics. It breaks down or alters the dynamics. Clearly undefined roles. A man finds himself doing things which the woman should be doing. I'm not saying that there there shouldn't be any support in all areas of managing the home. I'm not saying, for instance, that a man should not enter the kitchen and cook. Nor am I saying that a woman shouldn't go to work. I am just saying there needs to be some kind of defined roles, which are very traditional. Um, in the case of single parenting, parents might find themselves, whether you're a man or woman, doing practically everything. um, I mean, here in the UK, we very quickly have to learn to do a lot more than is our role. For instance, here you can see me cutting grass. In the UK here, I've painted the home before. I paint the home. I fix bulbs. I go to DIY shops. I look for things to, to how to fix things around the home. I have to take decisions over I've had to take decisions over the children. I've had to take smaller and bigger decisions. And very often, if one person finds themselves doing a lot more than their role, than is their role, should I say, it can cause a little bit of stress. It can cause a bit of resentment, um, and and this may lead to some kind of resentment towards the other partner, especially if they're around and they're not taking their role. So you find yourself taking their role, and vice versa. It's just like literally vice versa. I mean, I mean, No man or woman has to nag, or wife or husband has to nag the other person. I'm using this word nag. Let me not use that word nag. No man or woman. When I say nag, it's a reminder, constantly reminding the other person to do what they need to do. It's psychologically stressful, and this is why sometimes either party just find themselves getting on with things, because it is easier sometimes to just get on with something and actually just do what needs to be done without saying anything much more, without asking for it to be done over and over again. These things can really impact on a marriage. Yeah, so that's that particular aspect. And the next thing I want to talk about is actually lack of intimacy. Most In most relationships, uh, in the UK or abroad, I'm not going to say that it's here and it's nowhere else, but I think after everything that I've said, where there is stress, where there is resentment, where one person has done so much and practically exhausted themselves, you find that that person no longer has energy. Uh, that person, and this is not just physical energy, but psychological energy. If you've got somebody that you're feeling resentful towards, if that is not ironed out, if something like that is not worked upon, then the chances of that resentment that is sitting within the spirit, if these things aren't dealt with, then you are not going to want to be, you may not, should I say, want to be intimate with anybody. Now, somebody will come and say, uh, you're not meant to deprive anybody of anything. Nobody's talking about deliberately you're going to deprive anybody or anything here. What I'm saying here is that some of these issues arise from all these things that I've said and more, and there needs to be some kind of holistic approach and holistic way of dealing with all these things, so that the couple can come back in union, as it were, and things run a little bit more smoothly. I don't know whether I spoke about communication, and if I haven't, that's the other thing that I want to say, that a lack of communication, this thing of silence, not talking at all about matters that are affecting a relationship, a marriage. This thing of not communicating about what the goals are of the family, how you're feeling after a long day after work, whether it's a text message, whether it's a phone call, how are things, how are you feeling about things, what's on your mind, and literally just knowing that the other person is there for you to actually communicate with. Otherwise, people go into themselves, and then again, there can this can bring a whole magnitude of other things, including uh, more stress, an overworked mind, depression, and many other things that could actually affect and you know uh, cause other uh, issues in a marriage or in a relationship. Uh, that's it for this topic today. I hope this has helped. Thank you so much. Bye.